Welcome back to TV 48 Update. I'm your host, Catherine Pugh. I'm here with Dr. Gregory Ellis, and he's written several books. And there are several I think should be really hot out there. One is called Net Carb Scam, and we're going to talk about that. And then we have one, There Is No Fountain of Youth, and Dr. Ellis's Ultimate Diet Secret Light. And that's light, L-I-T-E. But let's talk about this, because everybody's on a no-carb diet, low-carb diet. What is a low-carb diet? Are people headed down the right path? And you say there's a scam going on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
The low-carb diet was popularized. It wasn't started by or conceived by Dr. Robert Atkins.
Right.
Okay?
People were talking about the Atkins diet.
Yeah. So his first book came out in '72. A lot of books sold. But the medical establishment was against it for a long time. And about 2 or 3 years ago, an article hit the New York Times Sunday magazine saying that Atkins might have been right all along. And that set the stage for this frenzy we've got going now. People jumping on the low-carb diet. What they're unaware of is that there were a tremendous number of flaws in the design of the low-carb diet devised by Dr. Atkins.
I was going to say, even the Atkins diet?
Oh, yeah, it's terribly flawed. Terribly flawed. And
what's the biggest flaw?
The main flaw is that Atkins discounted the importance of calories. He actually said calories don't count. Now, everyone in the medical establishment knew that they did.
Right, because they say, what do they say, 2,000 calories, 1,500 calories?
Well, they say a lot of stuff.
Right, I'm confused.
The major problem is that everyone's confused.
Okay.
That's what makes this such a mess. Everybody's totally confused.
Can we straighten this out?
Oh, it's easy to straighten out.
Okay.
And that's what I've done. I've straightened it completely out. It's much more complicated than what you eat, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Our bodies operate under certain known laws and rules. If you know the rules, then you take complete charge of this process.
Okay.
But no one knows the rules. All of the rules. You have to know all of the rules.
So what happened to 3 meals a day, one from every, you got to have milk, what happened to all of that? The different categories that we're supposed to have.
That's not so much something that's talked about relative to weight control. That is an idea related to eating a diet that's supposed to be good for you, for your health, to get all the nutrients you need.
Right.
And that's a constantly evolving thing, constantly changing.
So does that create the confusion too?
Because, that adds to the confusion.
Okay, because at first it was, here's what you eat from these different categories and do some exercise and you're going to be fine.
Well, and that's true. I mean, for weight control, there's one thing that guides weight for each and every one of us, and that is the amount of calories you consume versus the amount you burn.
Okay.
Now, that seems really simple, and that is the hard, fast rule. But in the application of that idea, problems occur, and that's where people get messed up, because they don't know how to manipulate that rule to get what they want. And they might do that thing, and they'll
start eating stuff they don't even like.
Well, they'll do that. And again, there's rules to the food you eat. So we've been shell-shocked for the last 30 years by the low-fat diet, ever since they said that fat and cholesterol caused heart disease.
Yeah, because now you have these foods that have no fat, zero fat.
Well, that's what we had that for 30 years. Now, all of a sudden, the low-carb thing comes into play.
Exactly.
Now, the low-fat was wrong from day one.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Completely wrong. But nobody bothered to figure it out.
Because, when I go to the store, here's what I do. I look at the back of whatever the package is or whatever I'm buying. I want to know how many calories there are, how many fat calories there are, and then I look down to see what ingredients are in there, how much sugar is in it, and I'll make my choices based on that.
Well, again, what you need to know are the rules. And the first rule you have to understand in biochemistry of food is that the body converts the carbohydrates it eats into body fat.
Okay, because that's the
People
sugar.
think that fat that you eat goes to the fat in your body.
Right.
That's not true. The fat that you eat is burnt as fuel by your body. And it's the carbohydrates that are actually converted to body fat.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons why so many people have switched to the low-carb diet, because they've observed the American population getting fat over the last 30 years on the low-fat diet, because that's exactly what it would do. And we knew that would occur in 1950.
Wait a minute, so if you're eating products that have zero fat, are you okay there?
So if you eat zero fat, you're on an extremely low-fat diet.
Right.
And you can't survive without fat.
Okay.
You can't be healthy without fat.
Okay. Got to eat some fat.
Now, you can eat a zero-carb diet.
Okay.
That's fine. No one will do it, but you can do it. He'll be fine with that.
Which brings me to another point, and I know we're going to straighten all of this out, so y'all just need to hold on with us because we're going to straighten all this out. Pasta, because see, as a runner, I used to eat a lot of pasta, and then I heard pasta wasn't good for you, so bam, pasta's out. But let's see if we can straighten this out when we get back. Stay with us. You're watching TV 48 Update. I'm your host, Catherine Pugh. He's an expert. He's going to help us. Stay with us.